Welcome to Austin and Matt. This is Matt.
And this is Austin.
This week we watched When Evil Lurks on, was it AMC?
AMC Plus, yeah.
AMC Plus. If you like what you hear, like and subscribe. Austin, what did you like about this movie?
First, I'm just gonna say, like, holy shit. So I didn't tell you this, but like the way how I came across this movie was another like really popular TikTok reviewer. He's like, this is probably like the best horror movie of the year, and I was like, all right, like I'll give it a shot. We'll see what it is. I'll get Matt to watch this. And let me just dive into a couple things here real quick. First off, like this is not traditional horror at all. Like the Insidious movies, like Conjuring, all that things. Like they've really started like pushing into like a very like supernatural horror thing, which this is still kind of that category. However, it's very human as well. So there's a lot that's going on, but also what I love is that they're very definite about what's going on. I really hate in scary movies where it's like there's a demon. It's like demons aren't real. This movie skips past all that, and they're like, there's something bad happening here. They're like, oh shit, is it really? And then they just like immediately fall into it. They get past the whole parts in the plot, and then they just try to defend themselves, which surprise, surprise, doesn't go well for a lot of people in this movie.
Very
uh,
poorly.
yeah. So a couple things I'm definitely going to mention here is that it's clear that it's a low budget movie, but I think they use the budget in very key places where like this didn't feel cheap at all to me. It felt like everything was intentional. It felt very real, and even like the actors that was going on. So like the movie's Argentinian, which at first when I put it on, my wife's like, "It's a good thing I know Spanish," and she's like, "I don't know this Spanish," so.
I was actually trying to find budget information online.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find it. I don't know how much they made this movie for.
Jeez.
And it's probably out there somewhere. I couldn't find it, but
Yeah. But I will say is that they did really great work for what they had, and this story too, like they don't linger too long in certain places. So they don't like bypass, but like it has great pacing all the way through. And the moments of like when we are experiencing that horror is like oh my god, like cringe type horror. So really for me, like I'm not a big horror fan at all, but like this really these types of horror movies I would say are more my forte than when I'm dealing with like Insidious and like Evil Dead Rise and things like that, where it's just like all of this stuff going on. So for me, like I thought it was a great movie that just happened to be horror, which is awesome. But Matt, what did you like?
um, yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. Um, it is. I mean, this wasn't one of my likes that I wrote down, but like, you definitely get the feeling that it's pretty low budget, but it looks great. And I don't know if these are like popular actors from Argentina. My guess is that they're all pretty no names, but I don't know. But anyway, um, this is a movie that it does something I really like, where it throws you into it with like almost no exposition, like an American movie. Okay, so this movie just I'm just gonna tell you like not huge spoilers because it's the first minute of the movie. It just starts, dude. Like it is just
Yeah.
like two dudes in a house that are like grabbing their guns, no words at all. Let's get in the car. An American movie, it would have been like there's a phone call and it's like A, B, and C is happening, and we need you to do D, F, and G or whatever. Like it would have been like everything would have been explained. And this movie's just like, hey, here's two guys in their house, uh, grabbing guns and leaving, and it doesn't really give anything. And for a movie that does have to do with demon possession and that type of thing, it doesn't really follow any of the established rules in movies about these kinds of things. um, I just thought that was really cool, and this was a movie that I went into without having seen a trailer, without knowing anything about it. So like
It's
when
nice,
they
right?
first walk into that room in that house at the beginning, I was like, what's going on? And you're kind of expecting it a little bit to be like they don't know what's going on, but it's like, no, these guys are like, for whatever reason, they're pretty well versed in demon possessions. I just was like, dude, this is filmmaking that I enjoy. I don't like being handed things, and a lot of movies nowadays hand all the information to you on a silver platter, and this movie doesn't, with the exception of a moment where they lay out seven rules
Mm.
but it kind of worked, and it for me, I was like, that's great, fine, give me these seven rules, because the seven rules don't even really end up being like incredibly consequential to everything else going on in the movie. So like it was like almost like pointless exposition, but it's like it didn't give you too much by existing. I don't know. It was really cool. Um, this is something that I'm starting to enjoy about a lot of horror movies, but nobody here is safe. Plot armor was not a thing, as far as I'm concerned, um, and so I really, really respect that. I'm glad that I could see a movie where it was like, oh yeah, anything could happen here, particularly with dogs. I'll just say that. Um, and I think most of all, this ending is pretty crazy. I think this is the kind of ending that horror movies should have more often. You and I talked before we started recording. I compared it to a certain movie. I'm not going to say that now because I don't want to give anything away. But let's just say that movie uh, is kind of like here, and I think this movie was maybe a little bit here because that ending was uh, a lot, and it was a very unique experience. Like I'm not in love with this movie, but I'm so glad that I saw it, and so glad that I got to like experience something so unlike anything I've seen before. Anyway, Austin, what did you dislike about
The movie's fucked. Like it is.
it?
Oh,
Yeah.
it is. There's a lot that goes on that makes me very uncomfortable and very uneasy, and it takes a lot of tolerance for it. If I wasn't watching this with the wife, like I probably would have paused and left and came back probably like 4 or 5 times just because there's some really difficult moments. That's not like a dislike, but like that's just a reality of this movie. Um, the other thing I'm definitely gonna say is like there's no happy in this movie. So like if you are planning to like, you know, go on an adventure and feel rewarded at the end, this is also not that movie for you. So it's just buckle up and enjoy. I'm definitely like recommending this to already to like other people at the moment. Just because it's so unique. So like my dislikes aren't even dislikes. It's just more of a warning of like just be prepared. What about you, Matt?
Um, I think kind of along with what you said, I wrote here maybe this is a little too unsettling. And wow, there was definitely some things that happened in here that I was like, oh, they actually went there because I think there's certain rules that movies play by sometimes, where certain things don't usually happen, and
Yeah,
it almost
Argentina doesn't
immediately,
play.
yeah, and it almost immediately is like, oh, this thing that you're concerned about happening, it's happening. Oh, and it's graphic, so. I think that was a bit much. Yeah, dude, there's certain horror movies in particular that I'm like, if my wife came down right now, I would literally be in the doghouse. Like, it wouldn't be just her being like, oh, that's really, I don't like that. It would be like, why would you watch something like that? I'm mad at you for watching a horror movie. So, also, and this is kind of like a little bit of a like, but like, did you kind of get the feeling like, wait, when does this movie take place?
Yeah, I
Like,
don't.
it almost felt like it takes place in like a nearby future where like demon possession is kind of like a more common occurrence. Like, I
I
don't
have.
know. I got. Did you kind of get that feeling too, though, that like, oh, where are we in time here? Like, are we? What is? What did you get that feeling? I don't know.
Yeah, I was really thrown off at the beginning, and it wasn't until I saw a smartphone that I was like, oh, okay, like we're kind of close to our time, but like the
Are
technology.
we in the future? I don't
Yeah,
know.
technology is not a factor here. It's like there's really nothing to like date it, so it's hard. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, maybe alternate universe. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah.
So that was kind of interesting. So that's kind of a dislike, but also like a little bit of a like of like, ooh, I don't know exactly what the whole story is here. Also, and this is a pretty common thread in a lot of horror movies. There's some pretty dumb decisions made here on multiple times. I mean, from start to finish, it's like, ooh, why are you touching the dude? That's a bad idea.
Don't do
I
that.
think overall. So yeah, I mean, but I mean, really, would horror movies really exist if people made all the smartest decisions? No, they would not. So, I can't complain about that either.
Yeah.
But if you want to see the most shocking, kind of insane horror movie this year, When Evil Lurks.
Yeah.
That is your movie, I think.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else.
Would you watch it again?
Oh, probably not. No. Like unless like I mean, this is how I can imagine myself watching it in like 10 years when my
Okay.
kids are a little bit older because I don't watch scary movies.
Oh God, Matt. When your kids are older?
Like if in 10
You're
years,
18 now.
my kid is like getting really into horror and he's like really into like body horror and he's like, I want to see a horror movie that's like pretty messed up. I'd be like, do I have a movie for you? And then I'd have to probably because I'll forget the name by then, and I'd be like, Spanish movie with bloated demon possessed guy. Like that's the one thing I'll remember probably.
You're gonna
And then I'll
dust
find
off the streaming services, though.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
because they're all gonna be
There's really
dead.
only, I mean, it's when it comes to horror movies, there's only a handful. Because as a dad, I think there's a whole list of movies that I'm like, I can't wait to watch this stuff with my kids someday. I don't think there's many horror movies on that list. It Chapter 1 is probably a big one for me. I'm a big fan of that movie. Stuff like that. But this is not going to be on that list for me. Unless my kid is like, hey, do you want to show me the most horrifying possible demon possession movie? And I will say, yes. Dude, yes, here you go. This is the movie we can watch.
Be like,
Don't think less of me, son.
just like I haven't changed your sheets in a while, but here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, if you like what we heard here, please like, subscribe. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.